Good morning. Welcome to the Bucks County Commissioners meeting, November 1st, 2023. We'll begin with the salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, a few presentations this morning. We are going to begin. This is the meeting we have before Veterans Day. Our next meeting is just a couple days after Veterans Day, so we are going to ask our Director of Veterans Affairs, Matt Allen, to come forward, talk a little bit about Veterans Day and programs and things his office provides.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd first off like to thank you for allowing Operation Greenlight to take place, which will start on Monday, November 6th and run through November 10th, which signifies the appreciation of the veterans in the community. I would also like to pay tribute to the brave men and women who have selflessly served our country in the armed forces. Veterans Day is a time for us to reflect on the sacrifices made by these heroes and to express our deepest gratitude for their service. Our veterans have stood on the front lines to protect our freedom, uphold our values, and defend the principles we hold dear to us. They have faced adversity, made personal sacrifices, and shown unwavering dedication to the cause of liberty. It is because of their commitment that we can enjoy the freedoms and opportunities we often take for granted. Today, let us remember that Veterans Day is not just about a day off from work or school, but a day to honor those who have placed their lives on the line for the sake of our nation. It's a day to express our appreciation and support for veterans, whether they served in times of war or peace. As we stand here today, let us also remember those currently serving in the military. They continue to protect our freedoms and uphold the values that define our nation. Their sacrifices are a testament to the enduring spirit of service that has always been at the core of our armed forces. I'd also like to pay tribute to the families of veterans. Families often face unique challenges and sacrifices, and they too deserve to be recognized. Veterans' families support and sacrifice. The family often endure long periods of separation, frequent moves, and have the emotional toll of knowing their loved ones are in harm's way. They also deal with the emotional and mental health that veterans endure. Many veteran families deal with the emotional and psychological effects of military service, to include PTSD and other mental health challenges. Family members support the well-being of the veterans returning home. The family also assists with the transition to civilian life. They support with the challenges of finding employment, housing, and healthcare, which can be very difficult. To the Gold Star families who have lost a loved one serving in the military, they should receive the utmost respect and support for their immense sacrifice. Their loved one's memory should be honored and their needs addressed. And to the caregivers, families often become caregivers for veterans with disabilities and injuries. I would also like to thank the businesses and organizations within Bucks County for their continued support of the veterans in this community. Let us pledge to support our veterans not just on Veterans Day, but every day. Let us offer them gratitude, respect, and assistance whenever they need it. It's the least that we can do to honor their service. I also want to recognize the ladies that work in the Veterans Affairs Office. Betty Carleo, Senior Veteran Service Officer. Chris Vitale. Veteran Service Officer. And Stephanie Policino, who is our Outreach Coordinator. Without your hard work and dedication, the veterans would be lost in this community. So I thank you for what you do to the veterans in this community.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And any comments from board members? We had a couple of the pictures you saw, ribbon cutting yesterday, another bridge that was dedicated to a Bucks resident who lost his life in Vietnam serving his country. We appreciate the efforts you put in, Mr. Allen, in your office, every day. We have thousands of veterans, in this county, including some in the room. So obviously you're a very necessary part of what we do here, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and Matt, and to your staff, thank you for the good work that you do. And the seminar you put on down at Parks Casino recently, I know you had some of the pictures, there's some of the pictures right there now. I mean, you did a fantastic job, you and your staff, and I got a lot of good responses from people, how nice it was, so good work, good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to talk about weatherization. We know obviously starting to feel a bit more like winter, or I guess you could say fall. We had a little bit of a break from that a week or so ago. But we are proud to have from the Bucks County Opportunity Council, Eileen Abiar, Director of Community Engagement, to talk about the weatherization program, Weatherization Day, and we have Commissioner DiGirolamo has a proclamation.
Okay, thank you. Whereas the Bucks County Opportunity Council, as a designated community action agency for Bucks County, has administered the Weatherization Assistance Program for nearly 50 years. BCOC's Weatherization Assistance Program provides an economic boost for low-income residents of Bucks County through lower energy costs and reduced arrearages, while also reducing dependency on public assistance. Weatherization is a vital part of the overall effort of the Opportunity Council to provide a cost-effective permanent solution for reducing the heavy energy burden on low-income residents of Bucks County and to provide affordable and safe housing for all. The Weatherization Assistance Program not only assists in reducing energy costs and providing efficient housing, but also contributes more broadly to the improvements and progress of communities by eliminating carbon emissions, stimulating local economies, creating jobs, and stabilizing neighborhoods. Bucks County Opportunity Council reports that households that have utilized the Weatherization Assistance Program save nearly $500 annually on energy costs. And now therefore, do we, the Board of the Bucks County Commissioners, Chair Robert Harvey, Vice Chair Diane Ellis Marseglia, and myself, hereby proclaim October 30th, 2023 as Weatherization Day throughout the County of Bucks. In so doing, we commend the efforts of the Bucks County Opportunity Council and the dedicated members of the Weatherization Assistance Program. We encourage all Bucks County residents to reach out or donate to the Opportunity Council. Congratulations.
Okay. Ms. Abiar?
Thank you very much, Commissioners. My name is Eileen Hartnett-Albiar. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at the Opportunity Council. And we're all feeling the squeeze of rising energy prices. But for lower income families, working families, seniors, the utility bill is a big percentage of their monthly expenses, leaving many to make difficult choices about staying warm, keeping the lights and refrigerator on, putting food on the table, or purchasing medications. As a designated community action agency for Bucks County, we're the recipient of U.S. Department of Energy and U.S. Department of Health and Human Services funding to weatherize homes in Bucks. Weatherization is an energy-saving program. Air sealing, weather stripping, insulation, tightening the home all decreases the energy burden. It reduces the cost and stops wasting energy. Leaky homes waste energy. On average, weatherized homes save $300 to $400 per year. They're safer, not relying on space heaters or other heating mechanisms that are unsafe. Reduction in pests. They're warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, more comfortable and save money and helps us reduce energy consumption overall. Reducing energy use is part of the county sustainability plan, and we're proud to be part of the solution for low-income families in Bucks County. We've been given additional funding to weatherize 200 homes in the upcoming year, and we appreciate the support and partnership of the county to raise awareness about the valuable assistance. And we have a short video to play, too.
Okay.
My name is Anthony Gafredo, father of three. I live in Warrington. My one daughter's room is a finished room, but it's above the garage, so it's always chilly. You know, I'll just run the heat, which would then run the heater, charge that bill up, possibly break the heater. And to have that done, it wouldn't have been an option. So I've never heard of what weatherization was, really, which I came to realize is kind of I just keep it out unwanted cold or hot air, which then just seals the house. When I first came to knowledge of this program, I think I got something in the mail, and I looked it up, read about it, pulled it up, and then from there, the next thing I knew, Chris was calling me to set up a consultation to come over, and the ball just kept rolling from there. It never stopped. Those guys did a great job. They put down plastic. They didn't walk on my floors once with their shoes. Really just respected my house and privacy. It was amazing. The technology they put in. They hooked up little gaskets around the windows and stuff like that just to see what was leaky, and took out old insulation that was not doing its job and put in insulation that does a good job. They did it for 2 days. They were in and out. The whole process from start to finish was more than a pleasure for me, honestly. The day they got done, I came in and I was just like, it just feels heavy. That's the word I used. Really just felt like a coat on the inside of the house, and it just made it more solid feeling here, and it's much warmer. There's no draft. My heater doesn't pop on half as much. And then, I get my Pico bill every month, and if not the most efficient neighbor, like 1 or 2% under the most efficient neighbors who are in the Picos, track. My Pico bill should be like $300 a month in the hot summer months and the cold winter months, and it hasn't been. It's been down tremendously, which is so cool. It's really impressive, honestly. It's really nice to know that something like this goes on, and there are people out there that are going to give back, and then it goes, full send to down the line. So thank you to everybody out there that is willing to support a program like this. It was really just an amazing program.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Appreciate all the work you're doing. We do have the proclamation here. I don't know if you have anybody else from your staff who would like to come up too, so happy to come forward. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We are also recognizing November as Epilepsy Awareness Month. We have Commissioner Marsegli, who has a proclamation.
Thank you. And whereas during National Epilepsy Awareness Month, the Epilepsy Foundation highlights not only the challenges people living with epilepsy may face, but also the importance of creating awareness to support the more than 3.4 million people living with epilepsy nationwide. Whereas the Epilepsy Foundation of Eastern Pennsylvania leads the fight in our region to stop seizures, find a cure, and overcome the challenges created by epilepsy. And whereas there are an estimated 110,000 individuals living with epilepsy throughout the Epilepsy Foundation's 10-county service area in Eastern Pennsylvania. And whereas this year, the Epilepsy Foundation of Eastern Pennsylvania is celebrating 51 years of service and dedication to Pennsylvania communities. And whereas, with the power of our community, we can bring hope to those experiencing the challenges of epilepsy, supporting the emotional health of people living with epilepsy, their family members, caregivers, and friends. So now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim November 2023 as Epilepsy Awareness Month throughout the County of Bucks. And in so doing, we encourage all Bucks Countyans to learn more about epilepsy and the people behind the numbers to ensure our voice is clear and united in creating awareness, education, and change for those living with epilepsy.
Thank you. And we do have Jeanette Locke here from the Epilepsy Foundation of Eastern Pennsylvania. And we also have Ms. Ali Beaumont, who is a resident here, along with her family. So Ms. Locke and Ms. Beaumont, and happy to have you here today. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for choosing me to talk here today. I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 5 years old, and in the beginning it was a rough start, but with lots of help from my family and friends and doctors and all of that, it was good. I just want to say thank you for everything, and I'm getting better with everything, and I just want to say thank you for helping me get better, and yeah, that's it.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name is Jeanette Locke. I am here representing the Epilepsy Foundation of Eastern Pennsylvania. I just wanted to say that we are grateful and we are so excited that you have made this proclamation stating that November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. I just want to share, you have a lot of statistics you already read, and I appreciate that. 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy, and 1 in 10 people will have a seizure. So we are fighting and striving to educate, advocate, and continue to give resources to those who need them. So we just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Derek, please. Ollie's parents want to come forward? Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, we are going to move on with our agenda, looking at public comment. These are on agenda items. First name on the list is Ed Mackhouse.
Thank you, Ed Mackhouse, dealing with agenda items about mental health, 2B and 2D. Ones with intellectual disabilities, it's $2.9 million. And the other ones, people with diagnosed mental health diagnosis. I was a teacher for 10 years. I've experienced breaking up a lot of fights. It's in an area where there was a lot of underprivileged people, and it takes courage to stand up against people with mental health problems. I'm concerned with helping not only the people with mental problems, but protecting the community. We should set up an example of standing against people that are not safe. The police and the NRA people save 500,000 to 2 million lives every year by standing up to criminals. It's very hard. It's easy to do criminal activities. At the Central Bucks School Board meeting September, I was there where a Democrat, Steve Sullivan, who's the campaign manager for Democrats, and he's a committee man, and he took a chair and threatened people. He threatened people in the community there. And you can see pictures of it. The police took him out. But what is done to keep him from getting guns or having guns or getting new guns and killing people, like the person in Maine who killed 18 people after a week of treatment? So how do we do the treatments and keep people from, courageous people stopped him from killing people with the metal chair. But if he gets a gun and goes to the meeting, decent people are not allowed to bring guns to the meeting. We have to keep these people who are dangerous, they can't control their temper, That's the major mental problem, that people can't control their temper. These people that can't control their temper, there should be a way to keep these people from getting guns. They had time to do it, they did not do it. He was confined for a week, and they never took his guns away. Steve Sullivan, how can we do what the Democrats should make sure that the people in their thing, the Republicans, all the school board members are threatened all the time. This is the time when you have evidence, visual evidence of a person as attempted murder, but people stopped him from with a chair. A metal chair can crack someone's head over, but you can stop it easier than when someone gets a gun. What are you doing to stop criminals from getting guns instead of harassing the NRA and the people that actually save millions of lives? Thank you.
Just ask people again, reminder, this is agenda item comments, so we can focus on agenda items that we'll be voting on. Marvin Goldstein.
Good morning. I'm here to thank the commissioners in advance.
I'm sorry, yeah, you can just raise that up a little bit, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here to thank the commissioners in advance for voting in favor of the $9 million home repair program, 100% of which funding comes from the federal government. As ASHI co-founder of the American Society of Home Inspectors in 1976, I personally inspected 12,000 homes for home buyers. I also inspected 1,000 FHA repossessed houses, and I can report that often these homes were repossessed due to unexpected, extraordinary medical expenses or physical disabilities. This $9 million home repair program will enable low-income homeowners to stay in their home even with physical disabilities or extraordinary medical expenses, and to have their houses made handicapped accessible with stair lifts, handicap usable bathrooms and kitchens, and if they have leaky roofs or bad heating systems, have those systems repaired or replaced. This program will provide up to $50,000 per house for those needs that will keep these houses and these homeowners from being repossessed and being made homeless. I just wanted to thank you again for this important program.
Okay, thank you. Andy Warren.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have a couple of questions. One about item 10A. What was the original cost of the roof? This is a $44,000 add-on. What was the original cost? Is this 10%, 20%, 1%, et cetera? Item 11B, has construction actually begun on the museum? And if not, how can we be adjusting contracts before the actual construction's begun, if it hasn't begun? Item number 14A, we're paying $1 million per year for eligible county employees with basic life insurance, et cetera. How many employees does this $1 million program cover? And the last two, item 21A, is William Tennant, great school, but who gets this money? Are these students that are getting the $32,000? Are these people that are teaching the students just exactly what is the PSBR? And finally, item 23, which I think the previous gentleman may have been speaking about, breaks out at $3 million a year, as I read this, for to start a program, or is this new? What is it? What's the total budget if we got $3 million a year to implement the home repair program? Who oversees it? What does it? And if it is in fact $9 million for 3 years, going to a Philadelphia company, I have no problem with Philadelphia companies, but I have less of a problem with Bucks County companies. If we're spending $9 million, couldn't we have found a company in Bucks County in which to invest our money?
Okay, thank you. Liz Yals?
Liz Yaus, Northampton Township. 20A, contract with Motorola for the purchase of portable and mobile radios for the Sheriff Department. I'm glad to see that the commissioners are finally addressing a need that the Sheriff's Department has. The people of Bucks County, thank you. In November of last year, you were given thoughtfully researched statistics by our sheriff regarding the rise in crime, and instead of taking it seriously and supporting him in his efforts to secure our citizens safely, you made a snide remark that you didn't realize Bucks County was such a bad place to live. The sheriff requested $750,000 for 8 new deputies to serve over 7,400 outstanding warrants, which include murder, rape, and violent crime charges, as well as to transport and guard prisoners and support local law enforcement across the county. Your response was to tell him to raise the money himself. It took 7 months and an article by Broad and Liberty for you to supposedly provide the money to the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Horan held a press conference on October 26, just last week, to call out the Bucks County Commissioners for not extending the financial support necessary to keep county residents and visitors safe despite rising crime rates. Sheriff Horan spoke about the mental health crisis occurring among the overworked and underpaid corrections officers and the need for additional staff. These commissioners take every opportunity to provide support for people living in Bucks County going through a mental health crisis, but they blatantly ignore a very simple and not so costly budgetary item, such as hiring a few more people in the Sheriff's Department to create a safer work environment and at the same time making Bucks County safer for its residents. Without physical safety, nothing matters. Where are your priorities? Certainly not with law-abiding citizens. You and your agenda are bad for Bucks. Thank you.
Beth Curcio?
Good morning, Beth Curcio, Warminster, Pennsylvania. 2A, what kind of support services are being provided for the 767K? And 3E, $523,000, automated child, youth, and service database. Please identify the type of information you're collecting in this database. Is this for the foster children? Is this a database for illegal border crossers so that they can be reunited with their parents? There are 850,000 missing children who have been trafficked on our open borders. Is this to help them? And finally, 25 on the regular agenda. You know, you're putting all this money into the global warming of wind turbines and everything else, and then you turn around and you put money in to take care of our parks and recreation. Has anyone done any of the research of what these wind turbines are doing to our environment? In New Jersey, the dolphins are coming up dead, the whales are coming up dead. You're disturbing the ocean, which is fish, which is food for us humans. And you're spending all this money. It's like $30,000 for a wind turbine. What happened in Dallas last year? People almost froze to death because they don't always work. You're taking statistics that if they were 100% reliable, and they're not. Fossil fuel is God's fuel. It's right in the ground. We have the pipelines. and it regenerates itself. Mr. Harvey said that we're running out of it. I'd love to know where he gets his information, because the state of Pennsylvania has enough fossil fuel to take care of all the entire country. 6,000 eagles died from these wind turbines, and 234,000 wildlife. It also affects the farmland. You're destroying with huge drilling. If you look at pictures like this, it's like with the solar. You're having these African children get the things that they need for this stuff that is not sustainable. And then when it's no good, where do you put it? Where do you put these windmills? They're humongous. So I think it's a gross waste of money that you're using the taxpayers' money to put into this global warming crap. It's not renewable energy at all. Thank you.
Robert McLean?
Good morning, Commissioners. Robert McLean, Milford Township. I want to speak on number 3C, Family Service Association of Bucks County. What exactly is the Nurturing Parenting and Parents as Teachers program? Could you elaborate on that, please? 3E, the automated children, the contract is with Info Matrix Corporation, the automated children and youth system database. What is the purpose of that database? Number 5A, it looks like whatever ACTS community is in Bucks County, I suspect that might be Ann's Choice. Is that a refinancing, or is that a new facility of money? Next, number 7, District Attorney, contract with Jared Johnson. It's for Friends for Heroes program to provide support and guidance to veterans. I'm just wondering how that relates to the DA's office, but perhaps that could explain that, please. And $12, annual grant for the Pennsylvania Health Department Public Health Preparedness Program. Will you be enforcing COVID shots and masking this year? Next. I don't think there was a next, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Question about the original cost of the roof. The original contract was $820,000. This is for the library. $820,000 was the original contract. The new one obviously be $864,000. Construction on the African American History Museum has begun. The update is really about building codes have changed. I don't know if Mr. Griggs can give us kind of an update on the African American History Museum, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Commissioner. So work has been underway for quite some time, probably the better part of 9 months. Some of the work that has been done so far, because I know that was part of the question, is site improvements, stormwater management, underground utilities, electric, domestic water, sanitary, stormwater management, and to the building. Because it's a restoration of an existing building, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on when you drive by, but the existing window frames were removed to order the new windows. Interior demolition, foundation underpinning, interior concrete slabs, basement waterproofing. The entire back of the building, which you can't see from the road, was opened up to work on building the new elevator shaft, and ongoing structural work to the building in preparation for framing and interior core and shell work. The contract increase was to bring us up to the building code for the state of Pennsylvania, because when our plans were designed, During the time they were designed, finalized, to the time we pulled permits, the code changed. So we had to update to be in code compliance with the state. So that's essentially what the contract increase is.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Question about 14A, which was the insurance. I don't know if Mr. Pascal or Ms. Gates have an answer to that, how many? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, your rank was pulled on you guys, sorry. Go ahead.
So all full-time employees.
So, yeah, so
Now
all
he wants to
full-time-
correct me.
Yeah, all full-time.
Now he wants to correct me.
This is not $1 million a year. This is $1.1 million for a 2-year contract.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that clarification. 21A, regarding the program that the Workforce and Economic Development is doing with William Tennant, the money goes to stipends because of an internship for the students and also oversight that's being done by the company in terms of managing hours and times and when the interns are there, when they're not there, how much they're working, those kinds of things, okay? The home repair program, we obviously are going to be talking about a little bit later on, having more detailed presentation on this is coming out of the state fund. The state has money from the federal government. They have allocated this. It's really $9 million to spend. It's not necessarily $3 million per year. And so we'll talk more about that. Question about 2A. In terms of access services and what services they provide. I don't know if Ms. Neff can comment on that.
Access Services is one of our providers for individuals with intellectual disabilities. So individuals may need intensive supports like care out of their home. And so this helps support individuals who are in transitional housing. It also supports administrative case management in the home if people need support in those ways as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for 3E, you might have to hold on to that, Ms. Neff, just for a little bit. A couple questions about your department, because it is obviously the biggest one we have. 3E, a couple questions about 3E. This is a state mandated system, correct me if I'm wrong, essentially with children, youth. It's state mandated that there be a reporting system to keep track of the children who are getting assistance in some way, shape, or form. It's CWIS, right? Is that what it is, or do you want to comment on that?
Correct. So for the Child Welfare Information System, we, as any other county in Pennsylvania, has to make sure that we're accurately reporting information up to the state in terms of the number of children we're working with, families, how many of those children are in out-of-home care, for what length of time. And frankly, that's how Pennsylvania also reports up to the federal government with that information. So it is something we partner with Montgomery County, Lackawanna, and another county in having the InfoMatrix system.
Okay, thank you. There was a question about wind turbines, which the county is not building wind turbines, at least not to my knowledge. If secretly Mr. Hutt is building a wind turbine somewhere. And I think the material that you're talking about regarding African children is coltan, which is a mineral that is actually more commonly used in cell phone batteries. And yes, it does cause some environmental degradation, destruction of natural environments. To mine that, I think it's also found in South America. But I'm sure if we were in a room, we'd find quite a few cell phone batteries in here. And so it is something we have to wrestle with as a society. But appreciate you bringing that up. 3C, Family Service Association, what exactly is the Nurturing Parent and Parents as Teachers program? Let's go back to Ms. Neff.
So FSA provides a number of services throughout the county, and for families that they're working with where they're trying to maintain children in the home and younger children might have disruptive issues happening or other behavioral issues, we bring in, that FSA brings in an evidence-based program to help families learn how to better support children so that that family unit can remain intact.
Okay, thank you. In terms of 5A, Question about whether or not this is a refinance or new building. I know it's a refinance. Ms. McKevitt, you want to comment on this?
So this is a refinance. There is one property in Montgomery County, it's Southampton Estates, and all of the other, I believe, 4 properties are in Montgomery County. But because that one is in Bucks, it has to be on this agenda.
Okay. 7, with regard to Friends for Heroes program, that we do a Veterans Court program in this county, which, similar to drug court, and hope for mental health court. The idea is to sort of have specialized programs for people to try and divert them as much as possible from the criminal justice system, provide whatever support we can to them. So that's my connection with that. 12 relates to the health department. Dr. Damsker, just giving an idea what exactly, this is a $447,000 grant from the Pennsylvania Health Department regarding public health preparedness. What exactly is this for? You're right on. Yeah.
Good morning. Yeah, this is federal dollars that we get every year passed through the state of Pennsylvania for, it pays for the full salary and fringe of our public health preparedness program, as well as some of our epidemiology staff. This pays for 100% of the time that they put in, which is great. And to answer the gentleman's question, as far as I know, there is no mask and/or vaccine mandates from the local or the state government or in the federal government at this time that I know of. So thank you.
Okay. For people who are interested in getting a vaccine regarding COVID or the flu, this is probably the right time to do it, correct?
Yes, the flu vaccine has actually been a very good match this year from all the preliminary data that the CDC has. And also, if you're at a high risk of COVID complications, this is a good time to get that as well.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Meitrob, comment on that number 7 item?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question came up about why the district attorney is involved with this $30,000 contract for veteran services. And I'll level with you. They came to me, they wanted to give us money to help veterans. I went to the public defender, they didn't want to do it. I went to probation, they didn't want to do it. And it's a good program, so I said, I'll do it. That's why I'm doing it, because it's going to help veterans. It doesn't cost the county a dime.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. All right, we'll move on with the agenda. We have the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from October 18th. Are there any comments or questions regarding the minutes? No? Okay, then we'll incorporate the minutes into the consent agenda, which is items 1 through 22B. Is there a motion to approve those items, the consent agenda, I should say?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. I move to regular agenda. We'll start with the Agriculture Preservation, T&T Groundworks, LLC Percy. John Ives here to talk about this.
Hello and good morning, and thank you for having me here today to present this farm for preservation. This farm is called the T&T Groundworks Farm, and it ranked #1 on our 2022 overall ranking list. So if this farm is preserved, it will be the first farm preserved in Riegelsville Borough. Next slide. The farmland we are proposing to preserve is comprised of 5 tracts and a total 17.4 acres. So it is a little bit on the smaller side than our usual farm preservations. This farm is adjacent to deed-restricted open space, borough land that is recreation land, as well as preserved land that is owned by the state. And that state land is the Delaware River Canal Path, towpath. And that towpath does lead from Easton all the way down to Bristol. The farmland is also located within 1 mile of 3 already preserved farms through our farmland preservation program. Next slide. Some other highlights of this farm include it contains class 1 and 2 soils. And class 1 and 2 soils, according to the state, are considered the most productive soils, throughout the whole state and the country, because they're full of nutrients and very productive. It will also preserve and protect riparian buffer along the Delaware River. And in preserving that riparian buffer, it also preserves valuable animal habitat along the riverfront. This farm will be 100% family farmed by Tom and Tricia, who comprise T&T Groundworks. Next slide. Tom and Tricia will utilize over 75% of the easement and grow a diverse selection of vegetables and crops. The total cost for this farm totals $130,500, and it will be 100% funded by the state, by state funds. And just to give you an overall update on total farms we have preserved so far, we have preserved, with the preservation of this farm, it'll make it 246 total farms, and that 246 farms totals 18,907 acres. So we're definitely getting close to that 20,000 acre mark, that milestone. And once again, I want to thank you all for supporting the Farmland Preservation Program and allocating funds for preserving farms throughout Bucks County. And hopefully within the next couple months, I'll definitely have a couple more farms coming before you.
Okay, so thank you. Appreciate all the work you do on this, as well as the Agricultural Preservation Board. Comments or questions, Mr. Ives? Okay, is there a motion? We'll take these individually. Is there a motion to approve item 23 in our regular agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Item 24 is to approve a cooperation agreement for the administration of property assessed clean energy CPACE program and authorize the chief operating officer or their designee to approve program guidelines and applications. So several years ago, the state approved a CPACE program. This essentially establishes a program that allows commercial, and now it's been changed to multifamily residential, think apartment buildings, to get access to sort of a loan program that would allow them to make improvements to their properties. It could be something related to energy. It could be water heaters. It could be solar panels. Seems to be the most common, one that people think of the most. One of the things that's most attractive about this program is the loan basically goes with the life of the improvement. So if you are a commercial property owner, and that would actually include farmers as well, you could put solar panels on the roof of your building. You could get a loan that would go the life of the solar panel, which is about 30 years. And this program actually allows this debt to stay with the property. So even if the property is sold, the new buyer of that property would absorb that debt. It actually adds value to the property, makes it a little bit easier. We have approved a CPACE program earlier in this administration. It's been a little slow getting off just because it is a little bit of a new thing. I know Montgomery County has this. I think they were one of the first counties to have this program. They do like 1 or 2 of these a year, these kinds of programs. So we're excited to be partnering with the Redevelopment Authority and the Bucks County Industrial Development Authority. They're going to help us sort of roll this out through their contacts. We're hoping this makes this program move a little quicker and have more access. We have had people reaching out to the county asking about this program. They're interested in taking part in it. I don't know if, Mr. Kevin, you want to add anything? I know we have Jay here from IDA. All right. Yeah.
Commissioner, just one note before you take a vote, which is that this one will need to be subject to solicitor approval. I understand both the authorities have been moving as quickly as they're able to, but the RDA has not been able to execute yet. And so in the event that they didn't execute, this wouldn't pass from the county side as well. Just one note for you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll make that note. TJ Lonergan is here from the Industrial Development Authority to talk about his program. He has a little bit of contacts in Montgomery County too, and a little bit about how they run this program.
Down a little bit here. Thank you, Commissioners. Yeah, just to any questions that you might have on the program. It's a unique partnership. It's not anything that the IDA, the RDA, or the county is going to need to provide in terms of financing or funding. It actually, in our view, is going to help facilitate ease of the program. And you can use it in 2 facets, either for new construction, which A lot of the interest that we've gotten so far have been on either new manufacturing facilities or cold storage facility of some kind that are going to be coming in and using energy efficiency standards anyway for their construction, whether it's new roof, new windows, anything like that, to improve the energy envelope of that building, or it can actually go for retrofitting buildings as well. So existing facilities, it could provide up to 100% financing on adding solar, adding new windows, upgrading roofs. That might be a little hesitant for a business that might want to do it. This is going to give them a much longer duration in term. Not going to give them a break on the interest rate. It's about 8-9% right now, but the term is pretty attractive in that sense. And then it's non-recourse as it's paid back as a special assessment on that specific property through the real estate taxes.
Okay. Yeah, you made a point, which I should have made, which is that the funding for this is really not coming from the county or the IDA or RDA. It's really the role that your organization is going to have, the IDA and the redevelopment authority as well, is really kind of making connections with businesses to financial institutions. And we do have a third-party sustainable energy fund, which works with most of the counties in the Commonwealth who have this program in terms of helping to administer it. And so there really isn't much of a heavy lift in terms of the county having to do much. Tax claim would have to, or Board of Assessment rather, would have to sort of add that on to a tax bill basically, but otherwise.
Yeah, correct. SEF is a third-party administrator. They're a nonprofit based out of the Lehigh Valley. They're going to be reviewing all of the plans and everything to make sure it's meeting those energy standards. The Treasury Department's going to be ultimately the ones that are collecting the taxes and then paying the debt instrument. But yeah, we thought the most efficient use, since the IDA and the RDA have the good fortune of speaking with a lot of business owners and being boots on the ground, so to speak, with a lot of development projects and retrofitting projects. And we're always getting questions on how do we finance these things. It's just one more tool in our arsenal to be able to say, hey, this is a program you should look at. And it's not with any banks or anything like that. They're all green lenders. They're independent lenders, usually offshoots of different insurance companies and things like that. So Wells Fargo doesn't have this as a product.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Lonergan or for Ms. Fitzpatrick? She's worked a lot on this as well. Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So we're looking at item 24, approving a cooperation agreement subject to solicitor approval for the administration of the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, and authorize Chief Operating Officer or their designee to approve program guidelines and applications. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Item 25, approve a contract to provide services to launch, manage, and implement the Bucks County Home Improvement Repair Program. So Mr. Fields is coming forward. I don't know if Ms. Mankiewicz is throwing it to Mr. Fields.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, hello, Commissioners. On agenda is a contract for the Bucks County Home Repair Program, which is a new program that's going to be built off of the recently launched state initiative called the Whole Home Repair Program. The goal of the program is to provide critical home repair to income-eligible homeowners throughout Bucks County to ensure that units are habitable, safe, efficient, and accessible. Bucks County received approximately $4.5 million from the state for the Whole Home Repair Program in Bucks County. And in addition to this, the county is contributing funding from the state and local fiscal recovery funds to give more homeowners the opportunity to receive vital assistance that will expand the impact and efficiency and scale of not just this program, but also the county's existing home repair programs. Capital Access will provide overall program management to assist the county in the design, launch, and implementation of the program. We anticipate a partnership with Habitat for Humanity of Bucks County as well, with a contract coming on to agenda within the next couple weeks. The contract represents program implementation and construction-related costs for the program. In the beginning, the implementation needs a launch phase. We anticipate that being about 90 days to develop all the program guidelines, get application portals up, and all of that. That also includes a contractor RFQ or RFP that will go out to solicit contractors for the program. Bucks County contractors, of course, will be encouraged to respond to that as it relates to the question about county participation. We expect the total implementation or launch period to take about 90 days, with the program going live to take full applications in early 2024. In the meantime, we are encouraging all interested residents to go to buckscounty.gov, WHRP, whole home repair. There's a basic interest form there, so as people put their information in, they will then be followed up with when the program is ready to go live.
Okay. And what are the kind, just give it, for an example, there was a question a little bit ago about the purpose of this. What kind of improvements are we likely to see the most of? What kind of people are going to be applying for this?
The focus is going to be on code violations and other things that would make a home not livable. So making sure that a home is able to stay up to code so that someone can age in place there, stay there. So safety, accessibility, as I think was referenced in another comment, will be one area. Energy efficiency where possible to implement it. But the real focus is on habitability, when it relates to, again, this is income eligible homeowners. So, it's not remodeling or home improvement, it's really home repair. So taking a home that might not be in a livable condition or is on the brink of not being in a livable condition and making it so that it's, able to stay habitable and up to code.
Okay. So for example,
So
you could...
roofs, major systems, heating, there could be, if interior work would be, typically related to accessibility and, any improvements that, again, might have been a code violation, electrical systems.
Okay, so if, for example, if you had somebody elderly, or not necessarily elderly, but somebody who, say, had a stroke and was now relying on a wheelchair, but they lived in a home that didn't have a ramp, the doors were too narrow, things of that nature, that's what this could be used for?
Yeah, accessibility is definitely a component of it. And so, yes, those types of repairs could be made. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Any other questions regarding this? Okay. Just a question was raised about why this Capital Access Incorporated, why go with them?
Applications were solicited. Multiple applicants, applied, including Habitat of Bucks County. So it will be a partnership involving both of those. But Capital Access was the most competitive to serve the most homes. So we're hoping to serve in the range. It does depend on the scope of the repairs, but between 100 to 170 homes. Depending on what the maximum need is. So it does depend on what comes in as far as need, but that was the reason for the selection. So, and again, Habitat Bucks will be a vital partner. They currently run one of our owner-occupied programs that uses a different grant funding source, so they'll be integrated into the program. So.
Okay, all right, thank you, appreciate it. Any other questions, Mr. Fields? Okay, all right, is there a motion? Thank you, Mr. Fields, appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve the contract to provide services to launch, manage, and implement the Bucks County Home Repair Program to Capital Access Incorporated?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, budget adjustments. Mr. Boscola?
Thank you, Commissioner. For your consideration today, there's 3 budget adjustments for 2023. Adjustment 13 would recognize additional revenue for the Register of Wills Clerk of Orphans Court Department, and that additional revenue will cover additional expenses for the year. Adjustment 14 will again recognize additional revenue received by parks. PennDOT had purchased parcels and easements for the construction of 2 roundabouts just outside Court Creek Park. That additional revenue will offset additional expenditures like the contract that the commissioners just approved, 18A, the purchase of 2 tractors from Deere & Company. Adjustment 15 relates to agenda item 20A that the commissioners just approved on the consent agenda. This adjustment will cover the purchase of the portable and mobile radios purchased by the Sheriff's Department.
Okay, thank you. Comments or questions? Is there a motion to approve budget adjustments 13, 14, and 15?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, personnel actions, the commissioners list. Is there any, or are there any comments or questions regarding the commissioners list? If not, is there a motion to approve those personnel actions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, board appointments. A few reappointments. Matthew McGarren, reappointed to the Bucks County Drug and Alcohol Commission for a term that will end 11/1/2026. For the Bucks County Library Board, Mr. Anthony Bush, Miss Amy Mazgai, Mr. Brian Reimers, appointed for terms that will end 11/1/2026, or excuse me, reappointed, terms 11/1/2026. Is there a motion for those 4 appointments?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Other civics, to the Haycock Historical Society, $2,000 contribution, to Health Link Dental Clinic, $4,000 contribution. Is there a motion to approve those contributions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Chief Operating Officer, Ms. McKevitt.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have 2 items to report on today. I'm going to invite Diane Rosati from our Drug and Alcohol Commission to give us an update on the Drug Take Back Day event that happened last weekend.
Thank you, Ms. McGevitt. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm so happy to be here today to celebrate with you the results of our medication take-back from this past Saturday. I know I shared an update with you last week, 2 weeks ago, along with Bethany's Tune, which certainly carried us through this take-back. So I'm happy to announce that at last Saturday's take-back, we collected in Bucks County unused, unwanted, expired medications, 9,567 pounds of medications, in addition to 570 pounds of sharps. So we're well over 10,000 pounds for collection for this past collection, which is just incredible. Since 2010, that brings us now to over 211,000 pounds of medications collected. So I want to thank everybody, certainly the residents, all of our department heads, and for all of the support that we've received throughout the years for this project, which is so successful. And so any successful project needs some highlighting, and I just wanted to mention 2 quick highlights. And one is to highlight a particular police department, and that is Quakertown Police Department, that just has been doing an incredible job in their collections. Quakertown Department alone collected over 447 pounds of unused medications, and they use some really interesting techniques that we would love to spread throughout the county. They do robocalling. They do provide Rita's water ice at the spots, so that's very popular. And on utility bills that residents receive, there's an advertisement for the take-back, in addition to the entire community participating. So that's one example of some really great community work that we're so pleased about, and we know is going to spread throughout the county. And lastly, this project is certainly a labor of love and is a lot of work for so many of us. And couldn't be done without some really important partnerships. So I do want to call out my partnership with the district attorney, without whom clearly we could not be as successful. So over the last many years, the detectives, law enforcement throughout the county, human services have leaned in and helped us with this project to make it so successful. And I just want to personally thank my colleague and friend, and the district attorney in this project, and didn't know if you wanted to say anything about it as well. Or not.
Yeah, I never turned down an opportunity to speak about this project. It's wonderful. And we've leaned in, and people always, everywhere around the county, they always ask, well, what can I do? You know, this epidemic that's gripping us. I say, here's a very easy way you can participate and help. And people really lean in, and I think success begets success. And of course, I have to say, we are #1 in the entire state and have been since the inception of the program. Bucks is best. This among many things is something that we really should be proud of, because we are actually saving lives with all the medication that we dispose of properly. Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matt, could I just ask a question? I mean, I heard 9,500 pounds and now it's 200,000 pounds. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how many tons that is. Can you?
That's 105 tons, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And switching gears, I want to talk a little bit about economic development and our efforts, the county's efforts in continuing the progress on streamlining our unified economic development approach. I'm going to invite, or I'd like to invite, Brian Cummings, our economic development program manager in our Workforce and Economic Development Department, to talk about economic development and our partnerships, maybe provide a little update on our activities to date.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. So as Program Manager for Economic for the County of Bucks, I get to meet with businesses frequently, consistently, to help them with their pain points, whatever they may be, and also connect them with resources. What I get to do is I provide them with data for planning. Many of these businesses don't have access to the data that I'm able to provide, so there's great meetings that come out of this first meeting that we have together. I can provide them with that data. The other thing I get to do is meet with businesses outside of the county and provide them with resources that what we have in Bucks County and why they can relocate their businesses here. What we thought, or our department thought, or what we came up with was an economic development video to really showcase what we have here, organization, people, and the properties that we have here. So we came up with video with the help of public information. They were able to do some filming from around the county and really did a fantastic job.
Bucks County is 622 square miles. There's more than 600,000 people that live here, and there's more than 8 million people that visit every year.
Bucks County is innovative, vibrant, and vast. Charming and collaborative.
Endless opportunities.
A place to grow.
The more resources that a community is able to provide, like Bucks County has been able to do and we continue to do, really sets us apart from the area.
The talent pool in Bucks County spans multiple industries, from agriculture to manufacturing to healthcare, retail, tourism, hospitality, and professional services.
Bucks County is timeless.
Supportive and nurturing. The well-rounded community, countryside chic. Bucks County is home.
We are celebrating the diversity and the uniqueness of our town, and that's represented in the businesses that chose to build their futures here. Bucks County is committed to supporting the economic growth of our communities through initiatives designed to bring job seekers and employers together.
We've really started to integrate the different economic development agencies we have here. All of them exist to help businesses grow. We have a lot of people here who are interested in fulfilling their own dreams, and certainly we can help make those connections to help them come true for everybody.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
What I will say is, so that is the first time that I've seen all of our economic development partners in one space. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it and thankful for each of the organizations that we meet with once a month here, led by Commissioner Harvey, and we hope to continue that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Solicitor's report, Ms. Patrick.
Per usual, just one item to report. The board held its standing executive session yesterday, October 31st, with staff and legal counsel present to discuss personnel matters, pending and prospective litigation, and to receive confidential legal advice. That completes my report.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to public comment. Priscilla Linden.
Priscilla Linden, Upper Makefield. Chairman Harvey, I want to congratulate your current Board of Commissioners for your bipartisan decisions and accomplishments, and to urge voters by next Tuesday, to re-elect you to continue the good work that you do for the citizens of Bucks County. Accomplishments like eliminating the $8 million budget deficit without raising taxes, the first time in 40 years that banking was bid out, resulting in rates to the county's advantage, matched with productive investments made by our treasurer's office. Also, row offices made more efficient by switching from electric typewriters to computers and by having elected officials and staff actually attend to their jobs without raising taxes. Invested $2.5 million in law enforcement to keep us safe without raising taxes. Initiation of the co-responders program, whereby trained mental health workers accompany police on family emergency calls, and we have had the most high profile of these cases. Several townships have already taken advantage of this program without raising taxes. Opening of new mental health facilities to follow up with these cases, and treatment programs without raising taxes. Protection of voting rights as our Board of Elections by initiating voting by mail and increasing voter participation through protected drop boxes and a very courteous and helpful Board of Election staff. Protection of women's reproductive health decisions and treatment access within Bucks County. Policy supporting schools, students, families, and teachers. Banning fracking in Bucks County and holding companies responsible for cancer-causing PFAS in drinking water. Many roads being repaired with state funding. All this.
Okay, all right, thank you. Paul Salvatore?
Good morning. I'm up here to talk about service, and in particular, service to the community, service to the county. I noticed we reappointed 4 people today to county boards. I think that's great. They're willing to serve. And this brings me to a letter, because I actually once served on the Drug and Alcohol Commission for 6 years in the 90s. And I was appointed to the Bucks County Housing Development Corporation in '09. And I served 14 years on that board, part of it as the vice chair. We went from being in the red into being in the black. So I received this letter on May 18th from you. I'd like to read it. On behalf of the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, I would like to thank you for your service on the Housing Development Corporation, period. You were not reappointed for another term, period. Without your service and the services of others throughout this great county, our work would not be possible. That brings me to one simple question. Why wasn't I reappointed? Can any of you answer me that? It doesn't say in this letter why I wasn't reappointed. I would have gladly have served another term. I did 14 years. Maybe you would say that's long enough, but some of you have been up on that board for longer than I've been on that. In fact, Ms. Mersagle, when I was first appointed, you were a commissioner, and you're running again for commissioner. So obviously 14 years isn't a lot. So I have 25 seconds left. Would you like to answer me, or wait till I sit down? You can reply, but I'd like to know. Because if you're asking people to dedicate 14 years of their life to an organization to make it better, and don't give them a reason why they're not reappointed, that's a slap in the face. Thank you.
Ed Mackhouse?
Ed Mackhouse, former scientist, engineer, teacher. I support the Republicans running for office. I think we need a change. I think there's a lot of things we can do better. America is the greatest country in the world, and the United States has technology and the resources to be energy independent again, which we were before, to bring the gas prices down reasonably, like $2 a gallon rather than going up to 10 or 20. The Democrats continue their program. We'll have trillions of dollars more of debt and not trillions of dollars of balance. And then the safety of women, respect for women. The Democrats take a day for the veterans, but a month to honor the Pride people. The Pride people, we're gay, we're queer, and we're here for your children. A month to operate to support them. The transgenders have problems because they don't confront their childhood traumas, which they should do. The billion-dollar transgender medical industry pushes hormones, which are addictive, surgeries, because they get $1 million per student that they could indoctrinate. So it's clear on crime, the police support the Republicans around here and the sheriffs. We can't afford all this crime, and even Steve Sullivan, who threatened people with a chair at the school board meeting. The school board people are threatened, and this is clear, and he should be denied support from the Democrats, and procedures should be made to keep him from having guns or getting more guns, because the safety, we don't need 18 people killed like in Maine. Thank you.
Okay. Before we continue, just obviously meeting before the election. I'm not anticipating, I don't really think it's worth having our department heads spend time here. Certainly the agenda items, we appreciate your expertise in helping us answer those. So you're welcome to leave, kind of go back to work. You don't have to stay here anymore. I don't think a lot of productivity is going to happen for the county with you being here. So if you want to take a second to leave, go ahead. Feel free to do that. Yeah. Joe Frederick?
Thank you, Commissioners, and good morning. First, I'd like to say this has been the most bipartisan commissioners in Bucks County history. You guys get along, you get things done, which helps and improves the life of the people in Bucks County. Bob and Diane has also protected women's right to choose. Under the leadership of Bob and Diane, the Bucks County is now building a long overdue mental health facility to help reduce incarceration rates of nonviolent offenders. Also partnering with local mental health groups for an emergency mental health center and expanding the use of co-responders in some 911 calls. Bob and Diane have also invested an additional $1 million in law enforcement. They have created also the first 4 things in Bucks County history, and I'd like to go through them. First, a sustainability director. First, diversity coordinator. First, climate action plan. And the purchase of the first electric vehicles. The bottom line is Bob and Diane have eliminated $8 million deficit, and I stress, without raising taxes. And I would like to have thanked these folks here for all the hard work they do and everything that they put up with. But thank you very much for all of you, and Bob and Diane, thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Andy Warren? Oh, your microphone dropped.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be very careful about what I say today. It's Abraham Lincoln and many others have said better to remain silent and thought a fool than speak up and remove all doubt. At the risk of speaking up, I take issue with the first speaker and the last speaker about what a board of commissioners are supposed to be. They're supposed to work on behalf of the people of a county. Yes. They are supposed to meet on issues. Yes. They're also supposed to be a two-party system, not one. And when one people vote 100% of the time, we're missing what a board of commissioners are supposed to be. I'll stop there before I really get in trouble. To whichever of the 3 of you are successful in this, I would ask that as a board of election, perhaps you look at where our elections are going. As I recall, I did some research one time. I think we spend over $1 million a day for election, something like that. And yet, election day is becoming increasingly insignificant. I'm encouraged to vote 3 weeks before the election. I'm encouraged to vote in the courthouse. I'm encouraged to stop off at a library and drop a vote. But yet, at polling places, we are paying people over $1 million a day to what I suspect is to fake fewer voters. Can we look at, maybe we ought to put just half a day?
Okay. Thank you. Liz Yaus?
There is nothing in the election code requiring counties to have drop boxes. In 2020, as part of the contract that counties signed when they took Zuckerbucks, they had to put in drop boxes. But this is not written in the election code named Act 77. The decision to have or not to have drop boxes is left up to each county board of elections, AKA the county commissioners. The reason we have drop boxes is not because our legislators authorized them, but because they did not previously exist, so our legislators did not think to block them. Drop boxes were created out of thin air by the Pennsylvania Department of State during COVID, supposedly to reduce the spread of infection. Nowhere in the election code does it say that counties cannot count mail-in ballots at the precinct level. The Pennsylvania State Department may have guidelines recommending a centralized tabulation center be used, but it is not written in the law. Therefore, this is another decision left up to the County Board of Elections. I know people who have done a lot of work going door to door researching issues within the voter rolls. They have found hundreds of people who should not be registered to vote in Bucks County. The current Board of Elections has done nothing to address these issues. I'm sure that when Pam Van Blunk and Jean DiGirolamo become the Bucks County Commissioners, they will seriously review the laws and do all that can be done to make Bucks County elections as fair and honest as possible. They will also investigate any complaints of inaccurate voter information that come to the board as well, and they will clear up the voter rolls. Bring back common sense, safety and honest elections. Vote for Pam Van Blunk and Jean DiGirolamo. With my last few seconds, I state again, we need a town hall style meeting once a month so that working people such as myself can attend in the evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Beth Curcio?
We are 7 days away from election. I have no confidence that it will be fair. For the last couple of years, I've participated in this dog and pony show. I've observed Commissioners Harvey and Marsigliano never allowing conversation with Bucks County residents. Yes, the taxpayers are allowed 2 minutes a meeting to comment. Usually then they get gaslighted. I've observed smirking, laughing, calling people liars, trying to trip them up with microphones. I've observed them in disgusting campaign practices, making huge banners with Mount Weintraub's good name without permission. Mr. Harvey is on video telling and showing us how he cheated in the last election with nursing home ballots. He also admitted to indoctrination when he was a teacher. Last meeting, he claimed they were running out of fossil fuel, yet the state of PA could service the entire country. Fossil fuel was provided by God. It's in the earth, and the pipelines was clean and safe for our environment. Truly missed $2 gas. I watched the sheriff be belittled and lied to. I've also heard that people's safety is just not a priority, that its $17 million rehab building is. We also are watching our local government in lawfare against moms who filed a right to know. We are also watching, the taxpayers are paying 3 lawyers to sue Jamie Walker for having the courage to fight for what her parental rights are. Remember, these are the commissioners that closed our schools, masked children, and worse, threatened employees in the county to take their livelihood away if they didn't get the jab. That's tyranny. Mr. Harvey parades employees in here with long presentations so that he can toot his horn. Between DEI, the Marxist agenda, and the global warming crap, a total waste of taxpayer money. Could you spend the money in getting the arsenic and the fluoride out of our water and stop spraying our grounds with toxic chemicals? We need to elect people that do not follow the DC global agenda and that is destroying our country. They are just taking orders from DC, and they will turn Bucks County into Philadelphia. Thank you.
Robert McLean.
Robert McLean, Milford Township. With so many contested Bucks County School Board elections and schools being instrumental in shaping worldview. One educational institution defined what the purpose of education is, and that is, let every student be plainly instructed and earnestly pressed to consider well the main end of life and studies, main end of his life and studies is to know God and Jesus Christ, which is eternal life, citing John 17, verse 3, and therefore to lay Christ in the bottom as the only foundation of all sound knowledge and learning. John 17:3 says, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. That educational institution was none other than Harvard College, under the rules and precepts adopted in 1646. How far our educational systems have devolved.
Thank you. All right, those are all the comments, public comment. I'll go to Commissioner's comment. Commissioner DiGirolamo?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, before my comments, can I make a point of order? I believe Sheriff Herron would like to make some comments in the public portion of the meeting.
What a surprise. Go ahead, Sheriff.
Nothing bad. We, in honor of Veterans Day, we partnered with Parks Casino. We are doing making Old Glory new again. So I just want to let everybody know that if you have an old, weathered American flag, you can come down to the sheriff's office either in Quakertown, Levittown, or in Doylestown and bring in your old flag, and you will get a brand new flag to display, and we will dispose of, with honor, your old flag properly so that people aren't...
Better done.
They had enough of me.
There you go.
So that people can we can dispose of the old flag properly, and it's free of charge. And this was made courtesy of Parks Casino partnering with the Sheriff's Office. So I just wanted to make that announcement in honor of Veterans Day. Thank you.
That. Thank you. Thank you. I think Mr. Weintraub probably used up most of those batteries in there. So, all right. Anything else?
We know Election Day's coming up, and I would just like to encourage everyone in Bucks County to get out to vote. I think it's very important to vote. I think it sends a message that our democracy is strong, and whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever you are registered, please get out and vote. It's important for the strength of our democracy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Marseglia?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank everybody for a good meeting. Just a couple of recognitions. First, I want to thank the partnership with the Industrial Development Authority, Redevelopment Authority, and the county. The CPACE program was one that we launched pretty early on. We were hoping that it would catch on, but it's one of the things in this in the county where there just wasn't an office, a single mechanism to really kind of push that out in terms of reaching out to businesses, having a connection to businesses. And so working with the IDA and RDA is a way for us to communicate better to the business community, have people they can contact directly, so then they can figure out what the details are regarding this plan. It does go back, and Ms. McKevitt referenced this, when we came into office, we noticed that there were different economic development agencies that really didn't work together very much. There was overlap. And each of them had slightly different functions, but overall, their goal is to improve the business climate in this county, to help businesses prosper, to attract businesses. And so we have been working on getting them to work more holistically, so they're working together. This is a great example of that. Hiring Mr. Cummings about a year and a half ago, that's a role that really hasn't been existence in this county, sort of a single point person that any business can reach out to and say, hey, I'm looking to move into Bucks, or I'm looking to expand, or I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. He's been working with communities, he's been working with companies, he's been working with the different chambers of commerce, he's working with individual managers at townships and boroughs to try and find where is there a parcel that this company might be able to go to? What's the climate like in this in this community? Do they want this kind of business or not? And so we're really excited to kind of be moving in that direction. So I was glad to have that move forward. Appreciate the support of the other commissioners and moving through with CPACE and the whole home repair program as well. Just to reference, we talk about the different holidays, and we've certainly had some, recently, the Jewish holidays a few weeks ago, I should say. Coming up on the 12th of November is Diwali, which is a festival of light celebrated by those residents here in Bucks who are Hindu. So we wish them a very, happy Holi, as we had a festival here in Doylestown just a few days ago. The Asian population in this county is one of the bigger minority groups we have, so we're happy to have them as part of our community and invite and, again, wish them a very happy holiday. And finally, just touching on Veterans Day. This, as I said in the beginning of the meeting, this is the last meeting before Veterans Day. It was I'm sure veterans, especially coming out of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and when we had a draft that took in so many people into the military through the 50s, 60s, and 70s after World War II. There are a lot of people here who are related to veterans, children of veterans, veterans themselves have uncles or aunts or brothers or sisters who are veterans, and it's true of me too. Father who was in the Army, 2 uncles who served in Vietnam, 1 who served in Korea, 5 great uncles who served in World War II. Thankfully, all came back alive, all went through their service, and I should say 2 other uncles who served in the 1960s. So all of them came out of that time period. And I'll give a plug to military service. As somebody who taught high school students, I had, especially early in my career, some students who didn't always have a lot of success in school, who found themselves in the principal's office a little bit more than they found themselves in the study hall. But it was interesting to see that those who went into the military, who got that service, who got that discipline they needed, got the guidance they needed, have them come back to school a year or 2 after they graduated, oftentimes in their uniform, which of course they didn't have to do, but they wanted to. They wanted to come back to their school. They wanted to see their teachers, and to see them in their, I remember one particular student who, I always had a good relationship with, but I was one of the few teachers who did. He was a little bit of a rough student, but he went into the Marine Corps after he graduated and came back, in his dress uniform, proud as a Marine, and he was a changed young man. And so there's definitely value in that. We're proud of the program that we have here now. We've launched in conjunction with Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Project, honoring Vietnam veterans from Bucks County who lost their lives. Yesterday, dedicated a bridge in New Hope to Marine Staff Sergeant Carol Raymond Bauer. And he does have a daughter who was only an infant when he passed away. She was not able to attend, but he had a brother who was 91 years old who lives in Ridley Township, Delaware County. And he drove up by himself, from Ridley Township to New Hope yesterday to be there and to see his brother honored. Every veteran has a story to tell. It's one of those things in this country where we don't always reach out to those veterans, even the ones in our families who served. And no matter if they served in war or peace, overseas or at home, there's a story that they can tell. And a lot of times they're not going to volunteer that story. They're waiting for someone to ask them oftentimes. And yes, there are veterans who just aren't comfortable telling their story, and that's understandable. That's true in my family as well. But I do encourage people, if you have someone who's a veteran in your family, or a neighbor or a friend, somebody you work with, just ask them their story. Why did they go in? Maybe they were drafted, maybe they chose to go in. What was their experience? What's something they remember? And then thank them for their service. Thanking them for their service, of course, is an easy thing, but sometimes just letting them know that you want to hear their story goes beyond just asking, or just telling them thank you. So I appreciate every veteran who served, no matter what branch, no matter where you served or when you served. Appreciate your service to this country. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.